So we have 34 seconds. 34 seconds to go. Oh.
Yes, President Luis, shall I start?
Yes, go ahead, VP Tony. It's already
Okay.
2 o'clock.
Okay. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. This is Tony Lopez of the Rotary Club of Makati. First of all, let me welcome members of our co-host clubs, Rotary Club of Makati EDSA, represented by LCP Cory Navarro, and the Rotary Club of Fort Bonifacio Global City, represented by LCP Jan Emil Langomez. It is indeed our honor to have this joint meeting with you. May I proceed with some house rules for the moment? Let me just run through them quickly. Please be advised that the microphones of non-program participants will be muted to help keep the background noise to a minimum. We have a new setting that will mute the attendees, but there are those who may intentionally unmute themselves and cause distraction during the proceedings. Just be warned that we will actually call you in public if there are distractions to the proceedings. Second, may we request the visiting Rotarians and guests to please type on the comment box your name, your club or affiliation, or the Rotarians who invited you to participate in this meeting so we can properly acknowledge you later in the program. For our open forum, after the talk of the speaker, in case you want to ask a question, please use either the raise hand button on your screen or notify us by typing your question on the comment box. Alternatively, you may want to type in your questions and we will try to accommodate it during the Q&A. I will prioritize the questions posted first on the chat box, then those who raise their hands and want to question openly. Okay, those who prefer to speak or say their questions openly will be unmuted. Lastly, very important, please don't leave the Zoom meeting after the response of the 3 presidents, as we will be having our group photo op with our speaker. That being said, let us get on with the meeting. Our dashing and hardworking President Louis Asoecho will do the honors of being the first to call the meeting to order, followed by LCP Cory Navarro and LCP Jan Emil Langomez. Mr. President.
Thank you, Vice President Tony. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati, I call this meeting to order.
You are muted, LCP Cory.
Okay. On behalf of Rotary Club of Makati EDSA, life-changing President Cory Navarro, I now call this joint meeting to order.
Hello. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Fort Bonifacio Global City, I call this meeting to order.
VP Tony, you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Let us proceed now with past President Kendry C. Go of the Rotary Club of Fort Bonifacio Global City, who has kindly agreed to do the invocation for today. PP Kendrick.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, we gather here today to pray for you for a successful gathering and sharing of knowledge. We ask that you guide us in your wisdom and strengthen our resolve, especially for the just cause of protecting the environment. We pray that you bless us all as well as our planet as we remain steadfast in the challenges of our times. Guide us, O Lord, with your wisdom, knowledge, and strength. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Chief of Staff Ron, can we proceed with the national anthem followed by the Rotary Club of Makati hymn? Thank you.
We're the Rotary Club of Makati, and together we stand proud. We are leaders with integrity, always ready to serve humanity, always living by the four-way test, building goodwill and peace along the way. To aid our fellow men, as true Rotarians we live to lead. We believe in service above self, and this is why we succeed. We're the Rotary Club of Makati, and together we stand proud. We are leaders with integrity, always ready to serve humanity, always living by the four-way test, building goodwill and peace along the way, giving hope to the world. We're the Rotary Club of Makati, giving hope to the world. The Rotary Club of Makati.
I will do the honors. I will do the honors of reading the four-way test of what all Rotarians should think, say, and do. You can repeat after me. First, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Second, is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. I'd just like to greet our birthday celebrants and wedding anniversary celebrators for the week. From the Rotary Club of Makati, we have Johnny Ang, whose birthday falls on the 17th. Then Director Chris Perreras on the 19th. Among the aunts, Cecil Dairit of PT Junjun will be celebrating her birthday on the 22nd of November. As for anniversaries, Ronnie and Menchu Concepcion will celebrate their anniversary on the 21st, and David and Alexa Aboitis on the also on the 21st of November. Chief of Staff Ron, any updates from the other clubs, or shall I proceed? Nothing? Okay. Just let me get on with the acknowledgements of the guests and visiting Rotarians. First of all, among our dignitaries, our very own past District Governor, Tony Quila. Among the life-changing presidents, we have Gina Ramos of RC Alabang Center Point, Rachel Harrison of RC Makati Business District, Adela Manzano of RC Makati Greenbelt, Presi Monte Alegre of RC Makati Uptown, and Julie Rabe of RC. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Did you?
Yes, we can.
President Louis, did you hear me from the beginning or just now?
Yes, we did actually. We did.
Okay. Among our Rotary aunts, we have Anne Nelly Bengson, Anne Rose Galvez, Anne Yvonne Kwan, Anne Lou Limhoko, and Anne Menchi Pascual. Our other guests are President Loida Enero of RC Metro Calibo, Past President Ricky Molo of RC Metro Calibo, Past President Melrose Lun of RC Metro Calibo, President Nora Maala from RC Nara Central, Bernie Cruz, Cherry Cruz, Past President Harry Dacumos of RC Makati Bel Air, Roxy Gutierrez, Neil Macasiar, Joy Neyron, Will Vincent Parone, Sara Punsalan, Maria Alona Reyes, and Bea Valerio. And the guests from Kings are April, Bing, Da, Hazel, Jeff, Joel, Jonathan Mendoza, Joseph Avillano, Kat, Lyra, and Maribel. If there is nobody else, let me just check the chat box. Okay, we're good. We can now proceed with the recognition of our Paul Harris Fellows. PDG Tony, could you take over, please?
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, VP Tony Lopez. Our first recipient for the Paul Harris Fellow pin is no other than our past president, Junjun Dairit, who will get his 7th Paul Harris. So he will get a pin with 1 ruby. President Louis will do the honors. Seven. 3 na lang, major donor na yan. Thank you, Bibi Junjun. Okay, the second is our baby Rotarian, June Campos, who will get his first Paul Harris Fellow. Then we'll have 2 Tambunting girls. Jana Tambunting, who's Jana? She's getting her second Paul Harris. So she'll have a pin with 1 sapphire stone. And then Jessica Francis, who will have her first Paul Harris Fellow. So she'll get the pin. Thank you. Picture with the father. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, PDG Tony. Now let's proceed with the check turnover to the Philippine Institute for the Deaf, headed by President Louis. We cannot seem to see the amount. I can see, as President Cesar, I cannot see the amount from the screen.
200,000 pesos, sir.
Akala ko 200 million. Buti na lang, di naubos yung pera natin. If you're ready, President Louis, we can proceed with the President's time.
Thank you very much, Vice President Tony. So, well, we were very pleased with the remarkable turnout in last week's Our Vote meeting with Vice President Leni Robredo as our keynote speaker. Despite the rather short notice, we recorded a good number of viewers on Zoom, Facebook, and on Rappler's live stream the day of the event. The meeting was also covered live by major mainstream media and aired in the evening news and continues to be viewed on YouTube and on Facebook to this very date. Allow me to express my thanks to everyone who contributed to the event's success. VP Leni for so graciously making time for us despite her killing campaign schedule. Secretary Eddie Galvez for serving as the club's bridge to the VP and for inviting her again as our guest speaker. District Governor Georgie Tan for her inspiring message. our vote chair, Pipi Nenet Asiniero of RC Makati Bel Air, for giving us an overview of the project, the panelists who efficiently managed the Q&A traffic, consisting of our very own past President Fred Pascual, immediate past President Peter Manzano and Howie Calleja, and past President and my broad Harold Dacumos of RC Makati Bel Air. The Rotary clubs that joined us and the Rotarians who logged on to the live stream, including our past District Governor, Sid Garcia, who delivered the closing remarks. To all of you, thank you. The first 2 Mondays of November brought members of several Rotary clubs of District 3830, led by District Governor Joji Tan, to the Stepping Stone School campus in Parañaque to get oriented with the school, its services and facilities, and to witness and be part of the launch of the Coin Cans. The Coin Cans project of Stepping Stone aims to augment the support which our Rotary Club of Makati has been giving to the school and to help raise funds to enable it to carry on its mission to guide and shape children with special needs to become productive members of the community. Please allow me to share with you the RC Makati video news of our visit to Stepping Stone.
With the downgrading of the alert level in the NCR, the life-changing presidents of District 3830 took the time to pay a visit to the Stepping Stone School in Parañaque, a project created by and still being supported by the Rotary Club of Makati since its birth in the 70s. In compliance with mass gathering and social distancing requirements, the presidents divided themselves in 2 batches for visits on separate days. November 1 and 8, both Mondays. Upon arrival at the campus, President Louis Asioche and Dayal Nandwani, Executive Director of Stepping Stone School, greeted the participants. Stepping Stone hosted lunch for the first batch, while lunch for the second batch was hosted by Governor Joji Tan. Lunch over, they proceeded to the boardroom for a short program where President Louis welcomed them and gave a historical background of the school and the support given by the club through the years, since the mid-70s.
Stepping Stone, as Governor Joji was saying a while ago, was a project of the Rotary Club of Makati way back 1972. Wow. At that time, it was only catering to indigent children right across our clubhouse in Guadalupe Viejo. While the Rotary Club of Makati continues to support the school for at least 1 million a year, it definitely needs the help also of the other clubs. And that's why we are fortunate that Governor Joji took a look at the school and then said that maybe we can, as classmates, as a district, can also help the school by modest coin can contribution. But when multiplied, it will really come up with a rather significant amount as well. So we're very thankful and grateful to Joji for choosing as one of your fellowship venues, Stepping Stone.
Our first project would always be about Stepping Stone, and it's a learning center for kids with disabilities who grow up with the center. Of course, they're marginalized. They do not have enough means, and so this is really a pet project of the Rotary Club of Makati. Our first meeting every year would be held in Stepping Stone, in that center. And the center moved away, and it's now in a very beautiful place. It's the first time I'm visiting this place again. So this is really bringing back a lot of warm memories to my heart.
Dayal Nandwani then explained the Coin Cans project, a fundraiser that bids club presidents to fill the cans with loose coins from their homes and offices until full to the brim, after which they ask for more cans to fill.
Can you imagine if a can like this, you put 1 peso coins, fill this up, this can take about 500 pesos. So if you put 500 pesos here, over 3,000 members per month, which is just the cost of one meal, that would generate 1.5 million a month. Over 12 months, that's 18 million.
After the short program, ED Dayal toured them around the facility, classrooms, sensory room, therapy room, performing arts room, hotel room, fitness room, admin room, prayer room, and the executive lounge, among others. The November 8th visit was highlighted by the turnover by President Louis of a check for 1 million pesos, representing RC Makati's funding support for the year. Receiving the check was Rodrigo Segura, President of Stepping Stone Foundation and a member of RC Makati.
Thank you very much for coming and being with us here and supporting the project of the CONCANS. Really, that makes a big difference after these almost 2 years of pandemic. Not easy for any school, and we really appreciate your support on this.
The meeting ended with a fellowship of the LCPs with Governor Joji Tan. A Center for Excellence in Special Education, Stepping Stone, takes care of children with mild to moderate intellectual disabilities, using or modifying the general education curriculum to meet each child's individual needs. The school's primary objective is to teach the students life skills and basic literacy that will enable them to develop into functioning members of society. The school grew from the Makati Research and Development Center, or MRDC, a special education school established by RC Makati in the 70s and operated it on its own through the 80s.
Life-changing governor! Serve to change lives! Serve to change lives! Life-changing governor! Life-changing president! Serve to change lives! Serve to change lives! Life-changing president!
Stepping Stone likewise served as venue for at least 3 fellowship sessions among my LCP classmates with Governor Joji Tan. The latest one held last Saturday. Saturday's fellowship, dubbed as Kulitan with Gov Joji, was a very exciting and fun-filled one. And Gov Joji certainly enjoyed bonding with her life-changing presidents that evening. Now, as previously reported, the Philippines has been chosen as host country of one of Rotary's presidential conferences this Rotary year, with District 3830 as host district. It will take place virtually for 3 days, from November 26th to November 28th, and it is the biggest virtual event in the Asia Pacific this year. As a show of support to RI President Shekhar Mehta, the board of the Rotary Club of Makati approved to have the club underwrite the registration fee of all our 120 members in order for us to achieve 100% registration in the event. To make the most of the learning experience, we shall be setting up a viewing conference at the 3rd floor of our clubhouse for the duration of the event. With an expected high turnout, we want to turn it into a fellowship social with lunch and snacks to be served on all 3 days. To those who are still wary of the COVID-19 scare, please be assured that we shall be strictly observing health protocols. We shall announce the details before November 26. This would be an opportune time to also break in our members for face-to-face meetings and events, which we shall be having very soon. Please be advised that our annual members meeting will be held on December 14, the 2nd Tuesday of December, as mandated in our bylaws. The board will be organizing the election committee this week. Expect a formal notice by next week. Please make it a point to calendar this important event. And at the risk of sounding like a broken vinyl record, sirang plaka in colloquial lingo, allow me to put in another reminder of our first and only social event since the pandemic-induced lockdown in March 2020. This is our long-delayed induction ball, which normally is being held in July of a new Rotary year, and this will double up as our Christmas party as well. Just to give you an idea how long delayed it was, before, Money Heist was a Netflix event in vogue. It's too late for us now, guys, to change our theme to Squid Game. We have scheduled these twin events on December 17, starting at 6 p.m. at the Ricodon Ballroom of the Manila Peninsula. As early as now, please block the date, December 17, on your calendar. And lastly, please support our Last Angel project, which will be spearheaded by IPP Peter and immediate past First Anne Pam Manzano this year. I am sure you already received the love letters from them. Let us oblige them with your usual support and generosity. The funds we will raise for this year's Last Angel will be spent for our traditional Christmas gift giving for our partner organizations and beneficiaries to hopefully end this pandemic year with lots of goodwill and cheer. Thank you. That's all for me. VP Tony.
Thank you. Thank you, President Louie. Now let's have the spotlight on LCP Cory Navarro for the President's Time of the Rotary Club of Makati, EDSA.
Thank you very much. President's Time. On behalf of Rotary Club of Makati, EDSA, life-changing President Cory Navarro. A pleasant good afternoon, past presidents, our dear classmate, Louie, and all my life-changing classmate presidents, fellow Rotarians, guests, and friends of Rotary. Allow me to thank each one of you, everyone, for a jam-packed and successful month of October, as well as we all celebrated and took charge of our campaign to end polio. Kudos everyone for a job well done. Before October ends, Filipino pride and one of Zamboanga Valientes MLB boxer, Jonas Sultan, knocked out artist Carlos Caraballo 4 times to clinch the new World Boxing Organization, WBO, Champion Intercontinental Bantamweight Champion of the World. I've been supporting his career as one of Rotary Club of Makati EDSA's public image for peace and conflict. And now, as we welcome November 2021, Gov. Georgie Tan, together with the 31 life-changing presidents, discussed and specified roles and responsibilities of the clubs for our district-initiated grant project on the rehabilitation of Marikina watershed. I volunteered to be part of the ADHOC committee. The committee was created to monitor and ensure its sustainability, the project, for the next 5 years. For the life-changing scholarship project updates, I had a meeting with the school principals, director of Booting School, Upskill Foundation Christian School, and Grace Faith Foundation discussion on the submission of initial qualified scholars. Life-changing President Scholarship donors were requested to help interview a students they have sponsored to qualify for the life-changing scholarship program as their legacy. In addition to these projects, my RCME family and I had already conducted our community assessment for our Rotary Days of Service. It was launched last November 12 to 13 in Barangay Calayo, Nasugbu, Batangas. It's in Calayo Elementary School. Several site visits were conducted to ensure proper coordination and communication. As much as possible, all areas of focus were targeted, and it was indeed a very successful event. And today, Christmas countdown boils to 37 days more to go. Many of us might already have completed their Christmas bucket list. And as we wait for this holiday season to finally arrive, I am excited that the Rotary Club of Makati EDSA's induction and Christmas party comes first, as it will be held on December 8, 2021 at 6 p.m. Invitation will follow. God willing, I would love to fly back in Manila to see and bond with all my classmates, the life-changing presidents, my Gov. Georgie Tan, and of course, my friends and family, nearly 2 years now not being with them, but so much to be thankful to God that we are healthy and alive. Amen. And these are my report as a life-changing president. Thank you and God bless us always.
Thank you, LCP Cory. Now, can we have President LCP John Emil Gomez for the President's time of RC Fort Bonifacio Global City?
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Fort Bonifacio Global City, I am representing my club. My name is LCP Jan Emil Gomez. Pleasant afternoon to all of you. I'd like to send my appreciation to my fellow LCP Louis and fellow LCP Cory, as well as to my other fellow LCPs in attendance today. The first project that I'd like to talk about, it was just mentioned by my fellow LCP Cory, the District Marikina Watershed Project. We were able to raise, as we recall, we were able to raise 1 million pesos from 30 clubs to initiate the District Marikina Watershed Project. And as mentioned, a committee was recently established to promote the sustainability of the implementation of this project beyond the LCP year and for the next years to come. So I am very optimistic that this project will succeed in its goal in promoting sustainability and environmental protection in the Marikina watershed as well. The second project that I'd like to talk about is as a project dear to me, the Music at Aklat project of the Rotary Club of Fort Bonifacio Global City. The Music at Aklat project is a fundraising concert that was held recently on the 3 weekends of October, and its intention was to raise funds for the children of Minis Island, Sulu. The Minis Island used to be a camp of the Abu Sayyaf back in the late 2019 before it was liberated by the 6 Special Forces of the Philippine Armed Forces of the Philippines. So recently, we partnered with the 6 Special Forces Brigade to promote education to 20 children of Minis Island. And the Music at Aklat is one of those events where we were able to raise funds for the children of Minis Islands. Of course, we would not stop there. The good news is that Music at Aklat will have a part 2 on this coming December, and I would like to enjoin everyone, my fellow clubmates, to be partners of this Music at Aklat event that we'll be doing this coming December. Third is the library renewal project. So our club has been recently donating books, and these books we were able to donate not just to Minis Island, Sulu, but we were also able to donate books to Barangay Tinajeros, Malabon, and Maasin, Iloilo, and recently to Butin Senior High School, which was attended by not just Governor Joji Tan, but also by Mayor Vico Soto. The books that we donated are not just traditional books, but also e-books for e-libraries. So not only are we promoting traditional literacy, but also digital literacy as well. So that's it for me. I wish more power to my fellow Rotarians and to my fellow LCPs. And I'm looking forward to more cooperation, not just in different activities, but also in the fellowship as well. So thank you, everyone, and more power to all of you.
Thank you, LCP John Emil. Can we have on spotlight again LCP Cory Navarro, who has kindly agreed to do the introduction of our guest speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, PP Antonio Lopez. Okay, so I would like to introduce Chairman Conrado Perreras. Is the ideal profile of a consummate businessman who blazes his pathway to corporate success. With 30 years of experience as chairman and chief executive office of his holding company, 1991 and up to the present. He boldly navigated it into several strategic business units that included realty, beauty, and wellness, among others. As chairman and CEO, he effectively established strategic partnerships with funding institutions and proponents of innovative and economical, viable local and international development projects. These emerging developments unleash to serve as a strategic advisor or management consultant of various small, medium, and large-scale enterprises. Academic achievements firmly rooted his corporate success. He finished with an impressive record: Bachelor of Arts in Economics, magna cum laude. Eventually, earning full academic credits for a Master for a Science in Industrial Economics from the Center for Research and Communication, now known as the University of Asia and Pacific, with banking and finance as sectoral experience and wood as field of industry specialization. This was further boosted by a master's degree in business administration and a thesis on strengthening the supply of bamboo, on which this book is anchored on. Despite CSP's executive workload, he is indefatigable volunteer for various NGOs and member of Rotary and Toastmaster clubs. He is also a teaching fellow of the Institute of Corporate Directors, an economist by training, marketer by profession, and entrepreneur by choice. CSP attained all this with his superior college and graduate school and academic preparation. A staunch advocate for the protection and preservation of the environment, worksite wellness, and good governance. CSP's pathway to more accomplishment continue to be mapped out. With a full schedule, he manages to strike a balance between work and leisure by riding horses, playing tennis, and swinging golf clubs. He is married to Josephine and their union blessed with 2 children, Nicole and JC. The family resides at Alabang, Muntinlupa City, Metro Manila. So let me call the vibrant, energetic Chairman Conrado Perreras. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much, LCP President Cory of the Rotary Club of Makati, EDSA. For the record, it was really your Vice President, Tony Lopez, who discovered me. I believe we were in a mining conference and he got to learn about my book. So to increase the level of motivation for me to come today, he bought my book, and I understand he already read it from cover to cover, from the front cover to the last cover. So thank you very much, Tony, for making that invitation. He suggested that I speak in today's virtual regular meeting of your clubs. And so I agreed without hesitation. And so here I am, ready to be toasted, roasted, or bamboozled. President Louis, of course, President Cory, and President John Emil, thank you for allowing me to spend a few minutes to share with you today during your meeting something about bamboo, which has been my advocacy together with my chairman of the board who just joined in, Dexter Quintana. I must admit that I feel comfortable in this meeting because I am with fellow Rotarians. I joined the Rotary Club of Makati Central in 1988. That was 33 years ago. And during my induction, I was told that the only reason I was admitted to the club was that they wanted to bring down their average age of members to 41. And I was only 37 then. So they were successful. But they told me the classic Rotary joke that if I don't get admitted to Rotary, that they just throw me to the lions. But that's not bad at all because I know that lions make love 10 to 15 times a day. But it was too late to back out. In any event, I come here today to share with you my dream that someday bamboo will be the timber of the 21st century. I know it can be done, but it's not easy. To make that conversion, we need a strong political will. We need to be able to launch a massive bamboo revolution across the country and adopting new perspectives. Let me just tell you up front that the total wood demand in this country today, according to the DNR statistics, is 5 million cubic meters. But the total supply, which does not even come totally from the forest, it comes from private plantations and some trees planted in their backyards, to only 1 million cubic meters. So the mission of bamboo is to close that gap of 4 million cubic meters by converting bamboo to timber. But then I'm trying to get ahead of myself. Let me tell you my story from the very beginning. And let me ask Ron to allow me to share screen.
Yes. Go ahead, Sir Conrad.
All right. I would like to start by showing you this painting. This painting depicts the typical life of a farmer in the countryside. Just to make life a little bit more interesting, I will ask everyone to guess who the artist who painted this. President Louis already guessed it right, but let me see if, without looking at your gadgets, if you can identify who did this painting. This is a typical farm where many farmers live. They have bamboos around the area. They build a nipa hut house made of bamboo. Their farm implements are made of bamboo. Their farm animals are fenced in and sheltered with bamboos. So for all intents and purposes, bamboo is an integral life. It's an integral part of their lives. I myself I was born in a farming village like this, and we are all so dependent on bamboo that in my adult life, I have accepted it so willingly to be able to advocate its propagation and utilization. I wish I can have this hanged in my living room as a constant reminder of my childhood. But I'm not here to talk to you about my life. I'm here to talk to you about converting bamboo into timber and make it available in the 21st century. The last 12 years of my life, since 2008, is devoted to bamboo. Nobody really paid attention to bamboo until 12 years ago when our club, Rotary Club of Makati and Central, adopted it as its flagship project. And we went out, talked to LGUs, talked to the farmers, and told them that bamboo can be the vehicle to protect the environment and provide livelihood to our people. But 3 years ago, I was in a consulting engagement with a hospital who also owned a school, and I was interested to jump over the fence to see what's happening in the school, and I enrolled in their MBA program. And during this time, I wrote the book which I was going to talk to you about today. So this book, which was originally the subject of my master's thesis, during the pandemic, I was looking at it and I said, what can I do to convert this into something that is easily available to more people? And I've decided to convert it into a book. And this is how it is. I played a little trick on the scientists. The cover is not really bamboo. It's a fortune plant, but it is locally marketed as the lucky bamboo. So I was hoping that for some of you who may be getting hold of this book, it will give you some luck. And just to settle score with my publisher, this book is available online. The hardbound copy with a dust jacket is available in my office. So for those who are interested, they can get a copy instantly. So let me start to talk about my book. The book was originally titled Strengthening the Supply of Bamboo in the Philippines, but a title so long would nobody would remember. So I changed it to Bamboo, the Timber of the 21st Century. There are 5 chapters in this book, but I will compile them into 3 to address the 3 questions of Simon Sinek's Golden Circle: the why, the how, and the what. So chapters 1 to 3 will be dwelling about the how. Chapter 4 will present the broad findings, and chapter 5, the conclusions and recommendations. So let me start to address the question of why bamboo. Bamboo used to be called derisively as a poor man's lumber, but not anymore because of the development of new technologies and new products which changed the situation completely. There was an executive order on bamboo that was issued in May of 2010, creating a local market for bamboo desks. There is also a global demand for bamboo over the last 2 decades. And there has been remarkable attention given to bamboo over the last 10 to 15 years. And so bamboo has become a very important component in our economy. And there are only 2 or 3 things that I can say about the botanical features: that bamboo is not a tree, it is a grass, and it has only a single cotyledon. It also doesn't have any cambium, which allows it to grow in diameter by vertical elongation. It is not considered as wood because of the absence of cambium, but it's called woody because of its remarkable resemblance to wood in terms of its appearance, texture, weight, and hardness. Bamboo has remarkable attributes. It's a very good substitute raw material for lots of wood products. It grows very fast, takes only 4 to 5 years to achieve its marketable size. It's good for erosion control, slope stabilization, increased productivity of lowland farms. You get the return on your investment in just a few years. You only plant once, no need for replanting, and it's adaptable to a wide range of site conditions, precisely because it is a grass. It's extremely hardy, like in the Typhoon Frank in Iloilo, when we visited, only bamboos were left standing. It can withstand earthquakes. And even when the atomic bomb was dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we were told that the first living thing to grow is bamboo. And it is susceptible to pests and diseases. It is a natural floater because it is hollow, and it's a favorite of local folks because you only need simpler and cheaper machines to process it. It has its environmental benefits, and these are known to many. It's known for erosion control and slope stabilization, as I already mentioned. It increases the yield in watersheds by twice. It sequesters a lot of carbon dioxide, more than trees. And it yields more oxygen than most plants or trees. It can serve as a windbreak or a privacy screen. And as I walk around my village, I see some ornamental bamboos lining up many of the residents' gardens, such as this. So it's a popular landscaping material. I will only show you one chart, which perhaps is the most important, and this is the value chain for the bamboo industry. The bamboo industry starts with the nurseries, and then goes to plantations, harvesting, and processing, then to marketing. The question of why strengthen the supply of bamboo is precisely to alleviate the wood supply situation, as I mentioned earlier, to gain a fair share of the growing world market, to comply with the law, because the law requires that bamboo be used for reforestation and in the production of bamboo desks. It can also generate more income and employment for people. And so in the conduct of the study, there were 6 objectives that we were interested in to determine the gap between between supply and demand. And for wood, you already known it, and there's a gap of 4 million cubic meters that can be supplied by bamboo. We wanted to know the list of species by type of product. We also want to collect information about propagation methods, to make estimates of the minimum raw material requirements of various industries, to calculate the size of plantations in hectares, and naturally to formulate a set of recommendations. Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 may not be that important. Suffice it to say that in our review of related literatures, we know that bamboo is used by 11 industries, that there is a downtrend in the last 15 years of bamboo exports. Locally, there are 70 known species, but only 6 or 7 are economically important. And only 37 to 50,000 hectares remaining. And most of these remaining stands are depleted, they're poorly managed, they are sporadic, and they're widely scattered in different islands. We have some plantations, but they are small, 50 hectares on the average. The minimum we should have is about 100. That bamboo products come mainly from 3 regions, the Asia Pacific, America, and Africa. that we have an executive order governing bamboo, which was issued in May 2010, Executive Order 879, that there are research and extraction activities being conducted, and that we don't have enough data about the bamboo industry. So the conceptual framework that we used, we gathered the data, we analyzed them, and reported them. And we adopted the research methodology to gather this data. Basically, we met with experts, we looked at literatures available, we analyzed the data, and finally made the report. Let me go straight to the broad findings before we open the floor for discussion. In this study, we discovered from these roundtable discussions and review of literatures that the global market in 2012 was about $11 billion US. In 2016, up to $16 billion US. Last year, it was estimated to be around 23 billion, and this is projected to be 40 billion in 2028 and around 50 billion by 2038. The sad thing to notice is that our share of the market is very, very small, just a speck in the universe. The global market is basically in three industries: furniture occupying 33%, handicrafts 33%, and engineered bamboo 20%, and the rest is for all other things. We also realized that the global market for bamboo is spread into furniture, handicrafts, and e-bamboo, with e-bamboo growing faster than the other two. When Executive Order 879 was issued, we reviewed the roadmap for the bamboo industry. And we said that to move forward, we should have a bamboo industry that is progressive, dynamic, productive, and globally competitive with a sustainable resource base. And we formulated some goals, like PBIDC, the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council, shepherding the industry, that we should have stable and supportive policies. We should be self-sufficient in raw materials, cost-effective in technologies and production processes. Goals in terms of well-trained manpower, established bamboo-based enterprises in the rural areas, high capacity but affordable equipment, stable and reliable local and foreign market. We also found that there was unprecedented interest on bamboo in the Philippines, especially today. But just like any other industries, there are barriers to development. One of them is insufficient supply of the raw materials. We also know that if we rely on natural stands for sources, they will not be enough because of the distinct disadvantages. So the key to strengthening the industry is through big plantations. And the best way to start is with the sporadic stands. There are 6 species that we recommend for furniture, handicrafts, and engineered bamboo, and these are kawayang tinik, kawayang bayog, bolo, laak, giant bamboo, and kiling. And we should be able to identify the species for each of these products. Let me pause here for a while, and I'd like you to watch very closely the way to propagate bamboo. And I will ask you a question at the end of this video clip. Thank you. Let me just show you a few slides and we'll try to open the floor for discussion. The other findings that's probably very interesting to you is that we have only projected a 6% share of the global bamboo by 2032, coming from a 1 to 2% in the last few years. And notice that the local demand for bamboo poles come in the magnitude of 50 million in 1998, up to 60 in 2008, 100 in 2018, and projected to be 130 in 2028. There is a deficit in the supply to the tune of anywhere between 20 to 30 million. So if we have a deficit in bamboo and we have a deficit in wood, definitely we're not going anywhere. And this is precisely the reason why I have written this book to address the issue of converting bamboo into timber. This has a lot of implications on the way we build our nurseries and in the way we supply the various industries. So we need 20 million for furniture, 20 million for handicraft, 20 million for engineered bamboo, and 40 million for the rest. And to be able to address this, we know that we need to come up with some actions which we recommended to the government. We realized that bamboo is no longer just for the poor, that bamboo is getting unprecedented attention, that the way to go is to produce engineered bamboo, even though furniture and handicrafts were our main exports. We have supply problems, that the total area devoted to bamboo in terms of hectares is not enough, and that the natural stands are not the best sources of raw materials. It's a good thing that attention is now being given to engineered bamboo. Let me stop here and let me just leave you with the broad recommendations for you to read in the book. I would like to end by saying that 12 years of my life has been devoted to the advocacy in the propagation of bamboo. And there were many lessons that I learned that in this venture, we need to know how to be resilient, how to be humble, and how to be flexible. We need to work not only with government, but other non-government organizations to move forward. In the end, it is my expectations that we will be able to achieve our dream of converting bamboo into timber with a lot of persistence, a lot of hard work, and a lot of determination. So back to you, Mr. Vice President, Moderator.
Okay. Ron, do I have the spotlight? Ron?
Yes, sir, Tony.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Conrad, for that interesting sharing. And for many of us attending today, a discovery of this grass species called bamboo, which is gaining popularity. Just to put it in the right perspective, you mentioned that I had encountered you and your book during a mining conference. And I just want to highlight to the attendees that the reason why bamboo was being discussed in mining is because the DENR has mandated, it's no longer voluntary, it's mandated mining companies to plant bamboo in its mined out land area. Meaning to say, if previously they were supposed to reforest and plant trees, but that is going to take many, many years. So the government itself has taken it upon himself to choose bamboo, which is a shorter growing and maturing span. Okay, so I might add that the reason I contacted you, Conrad, is for a selfish reason, because I had just acquired a new second home here in Rockwell, and my wife told me that she was going to fill all our walls with bamboo. And I said, wow, bamboo, that's the poor man's wood, so it must be cheap. And when she told me what the cost of engineered bamboo was from China, I nearly fainted. So the first question actually is a comment from architect, our member architect, June Palafox. I'd like to give you his comment, make him expound, and then maybe you can follow it up, Conrad. The comment of June Palafox is that bamboo and copper are the building materials for the current COVID pandemic. June, are you still with us? Ron, can we unmute June so that we can get June to share? I wanted to follow up on what he said about how bamboo and copper are the best building materials. Is June still there? If he is not, then let us proceed with my second question. You mentioned earlier, Conrad, that there are certain varieties that are good, that are better than most. I only caught a few: the bamboo tinik, the bamboo bayog, and the bamboo bolo. My first question is it because these varieties are indigenous to the Philippines? And second, are these varieties the ones that are most in demand for our furnitures, for our housing construction, and the like? Could you please explain?
Yes, when the roadmap for bamboo was formulated, the basic condition that was put on the table was that we should start with the end in mind. And among the three sectors among furniture, handicraft, and engineered bamboo, we knew that the way to the future is engineered bamboo because it is used as a substitute for wood. And when we looked at the market, the biggest demand in the developed world, in the Americas, in Europe, is engineered bamboo. And the best species to engineered bamboo is giant bamboo. Giant bamboo, only because you get a lot of bamboo. It is big in diameter and it's tall. And so when you convert it to timber, with so much input, you get a lot of output. And that is why we put giant bamboo as number one. They say that giant bamboo grows mostly in Mindanao. And we also know that Mindanao as an island is a big one. When you bring it to the Visayas and Luzon, there are indigenous species in Luzon, the Kawayang Tinik. In the northern part of Luzon is Bayog, and the Kawayang Tinik grows heavily also in the Visayas. So if I were to look at the total country in relation to what we're trying to do to promote bamboo, it will be giant bamboo, Kawayang Tinik, and probably Bayog. Now, there are other species that are introduced in the market, like the iron bamboo. It's called Dagwadua bamboo. But it hasn't been propagated in massive quantities, but it is equally good, equal to, or probably even better than our Kawayang Tinik. But you're right. We should start with something that is already indigenous. And so we don't need to unlearn things or learn new things. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you, Conrad. I don't see many questions on the chat box. There is one from Emilito Castro. If commercial bamboo plantation should be used, if commercial bamboo plantation should be pushed, should there be no equal push in the processing of bamboo into higher value products?
When we were starting up, we were asked a strategic question like, what kind of product we should push? And because many of our people are into handicrafts, basically using their hands to put a product together, that may not have a future in the long run. And so if you're going to push bamboo, you have to look at high value or high ticket items so that you get the most out of every pole that you produce. And the answer to that question is engineered bamboo allows you to get more than other products. I am biased to engineered bamboo only because of its potential in terms of generating foreign exchange for our economy. But for a long time to go, I'm very sure that furniture and handicrafts will be around. But the way to the future in terms of high values will be engineered bamboo. So if we want to go commercial, if we want to scale up, we need to think in terms of huge bamboo plantations and post-harvest facilities that can process the bamboo. And today, there are very few post-harvest facilities that are available. There are not very many who have found the market. So those companies with post-harvest facilities with processing capabilities were already tapped into the US market. The European market will be the one leading the way for this bamboo industry.
Conrad, I came across during one conference that there is one particular person who has established a 100-hectare bamboo propagation plantation in Pangasinan.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of this? Can you share with us who is this person? What is his motivation, and how far has he gone?
I think you're referring to Mayor Cesar Cambao.
Yes, that's right.
Mayor Cesar Cambao thought that the way to go with bamboo is to go through massive plantations. And while he started in 2011, 12, or 13 properly, it was only last year that he was able to secure sufficient area to plant bamboo. So the age of the bamboo that are meant to be processed are probably 1-2 years old. So he needs to wait 3 more years to have ample supply to process. The thing that I understand has been done there is they started putting up the processing facilities without any guarantee of bamboo supply. And that was the mismatch. But it is a big project. Yes, it has provided livelihood to people in the area. And it is my expectations that in the next 3 to 5 years, this will go in full bloom and it will be a major player in Luzon. There are other players in Mindanao with equivalent size of plantations or even bigger. But right now, the Pangasinan project is not exporting products that are required in the market.
Okay, the next question is from another member, Keith Harrison. It seems that bamboo for construction is expensive for the end user, partially due to the lack of craftsmen. Are there any programs to address this shortage?
In the area of manpower, it is TESDA that was given the mandate to train people. There are certification programs that already been on the ground with NC1 or NC2, national certification. But the number of people that are in this program are not sufficient to address the needs in the next 2 to 3 years. Yes, manpower is critical, but that may not be the reason why the output may be expensive at this time. You know, the law of supply and demand always operates when there is that much supply, there's too much demand. The price of the raw material goes up. And with processing, you need gluing technology, you need treatment facilities, you need kiln drying. This all adds up to something that makes it more expensive. But if you're able to follow the roadmap and reach the momentum and reach that tipping point where we can produce equal to the demand, then the supply of the raw materials may start to go down. There may be some improvements in or advances in technology that will allow the use of cheaper raw materials. And I think that day will come when wood made out of bamboo can be competitive, especially if there will be a scarcity in wood.
Okay, there are a few more questions, but I have a little of my own. Could you expound on how bamboo is being developed as a food product for the diet? Second, how bamboo is also being used for clothing, bamboo materials. They're actually quite expensive. T-shirts or undergarments made of bamboo or nightgowns are kind of expensive. Can you expound on some of these new products using bamboo?
Yeah, we set up a company 8 years ago. It's called Phil Bamboo with Attorney Dulce Unsalan. And the idea was to use bamboo shoots for food. And in fact, we had winning products that won in the Asian food festivals. But you see, the source for food has its own merits. But sometimes it's go contrary to the bigger objective. For example, if you cut the bamboo at its young stage, when it's a bamboo shoot, it depletes the supply of bamboo poles. On the other hand, if you don't do it, that may also just go to waste. So might as well harvest it and make it available to the supply chain for food. Today, when you cut the bamboo shoots and make it available in raw form, you bring it to the malls. You go there early in the morning by 10 o'clock when the mall opens. In an hour or two, it's all gone. So there's a big demand for bamboo shoots in its raw form. But bamboo shoots can also be canned. And because it can be canned, it can be preserved and can be made available through the season. And this is the major food component in some of the viands that are being served in restaurants. But that is as far as food is concerned. Bamboo has some medicinal qualities, and charcoal, for example, is being used in the cosmetic industry. To some extent, it's also used in the food industry. So these are products that are in their evolution to getting better and better and being made more available in the market. But you can only go so much with the food and the medicinal portions. Probably that can constitute about 5, 10, 15%. But I looked at the statistics recently in the world market. The products that are in great demand are kitchen utensils, which can partly be forming part of the furniture or handicraft. But there is a big demand for kitchen utensils made of bamboo.
Are you referring to chopsticks?
Chopsticks, that's to substitute for spoon and fork, but chopping boards are readily available. I was in one of the malls in the United States, and I saw a full collection of Martha Stewart's kitchenwares. So, and unfortunately, these are sourced mostly from China. We should be able to take our fair share of that market. But you also mentioned about textiles. Yes, there are some bamboo species that are good for producing textiles. And I think this is a growing market. It should be explored in the Philippines. The hotels are making use of towels made of bamboo, linens made of bamboo. And yes, at this stage, they are not inexpensive. But if we fully develop the technologies and make bamboos readily available, because the problem is supply. So if you jack up the supply and improvements in advances in technologies, we should be able to see products for food, clothing, and shelter going down in prices and in greater availabilities.
Okay, there is a question from another member, Philip Saya, about what is the ROI, return on investment, on a bamboo propagation project, and does the ROI improve because there are carbon credits that are awarded, that may be awarded to it?
Thank you, Philip, for that question. It seems that you are already advanced in your understanding of what bamboo can do. Yes, on the carbon credit side, there is a mechanism that is in place and that will add value to your output. If you enter the bamboo business, you have to choose whether you want to be in the nursery, in the plantation, in the harvesting and processing, or just in marketing. And yes, the ROIs in the respective value chain are predictable. For example, since the supply is the main problem now, there is a big demand for planting materials. And I showed you earlier the different propagation methods. We are limited by the techniques that we're using because the answer to my question earlier was that we are mostly propagating through branch cuttings. But you know, when you use branch cuttings, it all depends on how many poles you have from which you cut the branches. The way to go in the future is through tissue culture. Tissue culture will allow us to serve the demand for huge plantations. So for example, today there is a big demand in Luzon for bamboo propagules for giant bamboo. They may be cheap if they come from Mindanao, but the moment you add on the cost of transportation, by the time they get to some parts of Luzon, they go to something like 200 or 300 pesos already. So it depends on where you are in the value chain. There is money in nurseries, and I think the ROI, as you know, if you start planting, you can sell the propagules when they're grown up to 3 to 6 months. So within 6 months, you can have a sales turnover. If you're in plantation development, we know that it takes 4 to 5 years to harvest. And so your ROI is dependent on the number of poles that you can harvest. And in a clump, you can harvest about 8 to 9 a year. So these are all defined in my book. If you get hold of my book, there are calculations that I have provided where ROIs can be calculated to a level that is understandable for people in business. You know?
Okay, so the next question, I don't know if past President Tito Palillo has been unmuted. Tito, are you still in Barcelona or have you returned?
I'm still in Barcelona. Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Perreras, thank you for your sharing. No? Anyway, three quick questions. One, what is the minimum hectareage for what you can consider economical plantation project? That's number one. Number two, what kind of land or the soil quality is most conducive to bamboo planting? Mm-hmm. And third, can it be planted on a terrain whose slope is, let's say, greater than 18 degrees, so that the non-land reform hectarage in the foothills of the mountains can be converted into bamboo plantation. So just those three quick questions.
Okay, let me answer in reverse order. Yes, you can plant bamboo in areas above 18 degrees. Up to 30 degrees, I think it can still be done. When you look at plantations in China, in Anji, for example, where you see a sea change of bamboos in many of those mountain ranges, depending on the species, it can be done. Now in China, they have a species called the running bamboo or the mozo, where you plant it at the foot of the mountain and it goes all the way up. We do not have that species in the country. Even if we can get one, it may not thrive. But if you're looking at locations where the lands are owned by our indigenous peoples, our brothers, or in these areas, they say that if you have about 18 degrees, you can still make it. So 18 degrees and below is conducive for bamboo planting. And if you plant during the rainy season, and if it survives one summer, then you're home free. The only problem, or I think it's no longer a problem, rainy season cannot be defined anymore in terms of months. Sometimes if it is spread all over the year, so it's good that we can plant bamboo any time of the year. What is the first question again?
What's the minimum hectarage
for the minimum hectarage
of a project?
Yes, many of the plantations we have today are 50 hectares, and these are not considered economically viable. We should start with 100, and the bigger, the better. According to some statistics, if you have 1 million hectares planted to bamboo, you need at least one post-harvest facilities to have a sustainable supply of bamboo for your processing plants. And I think I saw the numbers in the roadmap. They're looking at, for commercial purposes, if you can plant 8 million hectares to bamboo, we are assured of continuous supply, and we can locate our post-harvest facilities in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Some questions raised about what about the sugar cane? What about some fields? Can this be planted? I think in the roadmap, we have made it a condition that because bamboo is a grass, it can grow literally anywhere. When you see grass growing, you can plant bamboo there. Of course, there are some soil conditions that may be better than the others. Like for example, lands across or near the sea, that may not be the best. But haciendas, for example, in Negros, these are very good candidates for planting bamboo. It's just a question of whether your ROI is better on bamboo rather than on sugarcane.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, stay safe, Past President Tito. Conrad, the next question will be from Past President Bimbo. But meanwhile, can I just accommodate a request from some attendees? They would like to know where to acquire your book. Could you share screen again on that particular page, which you flashed earlier, so that the attendees can check where? Are you still able to do screen share? Yeah. Yes. Could you go to that? Could you go to that slide? I think it was early on where you said your book would be available. There were 3 questions on that matter. There you are. So could you flash that for about 5 seconds? I will just read. Yes, go ahead.
For those of you who live in the Philippines, I think the best way, if you want to get hold of the hardbound copy, I will share with your secretariat how to reach me, and it's readily available in my office. But for those who are in a hurry, the book is available online. There is a SPY online store that can take on the hardbound copy. For everything else, the ebook versions are available at Amazon.com. They're also available on Apple bookstores, Smashwords, Rakuten Kobo, Barnes and Noble. So you can just log in, and in 5-10 minutes, you get a copy of the book. That is the fastest. I wanted the ebook available, especially for people who are overseas, because the cost of transporting it are 2 to 3 times more than the cost of the book. So that solves the problem for my friends in other countries.
Thank you. So for those who are interested, the email address of Conrad will be available at the club secretariat, which is how I actually acquired the book myself. I just sent an email, and I was provided the details for paying, and the book was delivered to me by, I forgot, it was Lala Move or Grab. Conrad, could you remove the screen share so we can have now the question of past President Bimbo Mills?
Hi, Bimbo.
Thank you, Tom. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, now. Okay, thank you. Conrad, thank you for the very interesting talk. I think most of us have always known that bamboo had a big potential, but how to attain that potential or win that over. No? Now, you mentioned that plantations is the approach. No? Yes. On the other hand, I think the front-end investments, if you go to 50 or 100,000 or 100 hectares, is really substantial. And that decision, I think, will slow down the adoption of this. What about a contract growing thing where you say, okay, you give away seedlings of the right variety, and then you put the post-harvest in some, for example, some city in Mindanao, and you spread out the seedlings to all the barrios and towns around it, and then use that as the source, and then you do the build-up of the post-harvest in a more gradual way. As another way to, of course, there will always be big plantation guys, but I think this one, if you want to impact also incomes of the farmers, and I think make it a little more investable, no? Because, for example, for you to put up a 100-hectare thing, you must have a solid market first, the capital expenditure for the factories to process, and then a market. And considering China is the main opponent here, and their capex is already in place, which is financed by government, you'll be uphill all the way, you know. So, and our government obviously does not finance such things in that way, you know. So really, the way I think to make this happen really is a small scale, bootstrap type thing where maybe the processing would be to make floor tiles only, one size of floor tiles from this variety, and then gradually grow from that. Is that possible, or what do you think of that approach?
No, it's interesting that you mentioned that. As a matter of fact, in Mindanao, they are already employing that. For those with medium-sized post-harvest facilities, their supply of bamboo from their plantations is not sufficient. And just as a good neighborly practice, they source the bamboos from all the farmers surrounding the area. And there is contracting. I think subcontracting is a very familiar scheme, not only in bamboo, but in many other agricultural products. Yes, that is a very good scheme. The only consideration that need to be addressed is that when you're talking to small farmers, the quality is not predictable. And so your scheme, suggested scheme of, which is similar to what they're doing now, is the planting material is supplied by the company which has the post-harvest facility. And he says, you plant this, I will guarantee the purchase of the finished of the of the 5-year-old bamboo once it's there. And they agree on price. They agree on how it should be grown. And after 4 to 5 years, when the bamboo is fully grown, it is bought back by the company that provided the planting material. So in so doing, you can more or less control the quality. That scheme also benefits broader communities. And this is the reason why some of these companies are looking at lands from the IPs for as long as they can work together as a cooperative. They enter into agreements. They can even borrow money if there is a guaranteed market for their produce. So this scheme, I think, as you suggested, is a most welcome scheme as an integral part of the roadmap that we are slowly unfolding. But to rely most of the supply from these small suppliers, it will not be tenable because in the end, the ability to compete is to being able to guarantee supply on demand.
Okay. We have room for one more question, but before that question, there was a nice comment from Anne Yvonne Kwan, who said that in SM they have on display where is that? They have on display bamboo chopping boards of different sizes. They have bamboo trays, bamboo and spatulas of different brands. I guess that was a sharing of Yvonne Kwan to all the aunts who are attending. Yes. There was a question also from our member, I Galvez, whose question was similar to that of past President Tito Palilio. So there's only one more question left, and this is from Jackie. I don't have his full details. Jackie, you're on mute, Jackie, and you have the privilege of the last question. You're on mute, Jackie.
Am I on mute still?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. I happen to have roughly about 12 hectares of bamboo. If you see what's in the background of my my background here in the picture, that's the type of bamboo I have. They're rather big in size, probably about 32, 33 inches in circumference, and a very hard wood, good for flooring, great for plywood. I'm building up on my seedling bank. Right now, we have way over 200,000 seedlings that we're going to be planting in Mindanao. I was wondering why, this is my question. I tried to plant this in Cagayan Valley, and it didn't quite work out. I mean, I lost about 70% of what I planted. Can you tell me why?
You're Cagayan Valley in the north.
Yeah, and,
right.
In a place called Pagao.
I assume the bamboos you have are giant bamboos species, and there are several kinds.
What we did here, I have a German technician, a type of bamboo from Cambodia, and mixed it with the DNA of bamboo coming from Myanmar. We worked on it for about 6 months before we came up with something satisfactory. And this is what we're doing. This is 3 years old, what you're seeing in the picture. And I think, like you, I'm a believer in that bamboo is the way to go. It grows anywhere. But in planting, I intersperse it with fruit trees or forest trees in order to not to have a monoculture in the plantation. But they grow very well in Mindanao, but not in northern Luzon. So, is there a reason why?
I think basically for two reasons. One is the altitude. The other one is rainfall. It seems to me that that species, just like giant bamboo, grows best in higher altitudes with a high degree of rainfall. Now, when you transport it to the north, where the north is susceptible to drought, long summers, and it is deprived of water, it doesn't grow to its maximum size. But here is the contention that I want to advance to people like you who are very much advanced already in their appreciation of the potentials of bamboo. If you bring a giant bamboo from Mindanao and put it in Cagayan Valley, it may not grow to the size of 32, 36 inches circumference, but if it grows to something like 24, 25, it's still better than the bayog that is normally grown there. The advantage of bayog is that it has a very small cavity, so you also get a lot of bamboo. But between the giant bamboo of Mindanao and the giant bamboo of Cagayan Valley, there may be a difference, but the giant bamboo of Cagayan Valley and the bayog of Cagayan Valley, you may still get more bamboo from the giant bamboo. And so this needs to be analyzed on the ground. And that theory that I have advanced has not been proven because right now there is a high mortality of giant bamboo shipped from Mindanao to Luzon. And one of the reasons for that is the transportation. If you have a propagule from Mindanao, the shelf life can only be 7 days. So if you ship it to Cagayan Valley, it takes 1 day to pack, 2 days to ship, and then it stays in the holding area for 1 or 2 days. You transport it to Mindanao, it can be more than 7 days. And so the mortality rate gets to be much higher. So handling is a big factor.
You mentioned earlier, Conrad, that there is a giant bamboo variety from Mindanao. I have yet to see one. The ones I've seen come from China, northern Myanmar, and Laos and Cambodia. I haven't seen one here.
I've not seen the one that you have. I've seen giant bamboos. But one experimentation that we did in the early days was that we brought moso. This is the running bamboo from China. And we brought it to Benguet, planted it at the Benguet State University. Yes, it grew, but it did not grow in size similar to what we have seen in Anji.
Okay, guys, Jackie, you can perhaps follow up with Conrad offline. When you get his email address, you can raise.
Thank you.
Yes, we have to wrap up. I want to thank you again, Conrad, but the proper gesture of gratitude will be done by the life-changing presidents. And now we will start with the response from LCP Cory Navarro of RC Makati EDSA. You're on mute. You're on mute. President Cory, you're on mute. Hello, President Cory. Maybe if LCP John Emil is ready for his response.
Hello.
Yes.
I'll keep my response short. I do appreciate Mr. Conrad's presentation about bamboo. As someone who is also part of another bamboo-related project, the District Marikina Watershed Project, it's very timely to discuss how are we going to promote sustainability and environmental protection. And it's also timely because we just came from the COP26, the United Nations Conference on Climate Change. And one of the challenges brought upon by climate change is using more sustainable alternatives in terms of resources. And bamboo, I believe, is one of those main resources that we can use to promote sustainability. I'm very enlightened by the presentation of Mr. Conrad because I didn't know there's so many uses for bamboo. In fact, I didn't even knew the existence of e-bamboo until during the presentation, and that's something that I really appreciate as well. So overall, I think there's so much to learn more about the potential of bamboo and how it can help promote not just sustainability but also become a part of nation building as well. And that's something that I'm looking forward to. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Is President Cory Navarro now ready? President Cory? President Cory? Chief of Staff Ron, can you help out technically? While we're waiting, President Louis, are you just about ready?
Yeah.
You know, President Louis, I noticed that PP Junjun and PP Bimbo are being fed there in the clubhouse with the hearty meal. I'm your vice president. I'm moderating from home. I'm only 400 meters from the clubhouse. I was hoping you could have sent food next. You know, I saw them heartily eating during the meeting. Sorry, I'm waiting only for President Cory, LCP Cory Navarro. President Louis.
President Louis. Jump in anytime you want, VP Tony.
Yes. Yeah, please.
Yes.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So I know you live in Rockwell, so your choice, salad stop or 8 cuts? Anyway, VP Tony, how can you not get infatuated with anything that is sourced from bamboo? To me, anything that is bamboo is Zen-like, evoking calmness, introspection, and relaxation. It actually brings me back to my childhood days in my lawless town where I and my playmates would lie on a patch of green and gaze idly at the bamboo thicket as the clumps sway with the wind. Nowadays, Zen gardens will always have bamboo as an indispensable element of their design, whether as an accent plant or to serve as a privacy wall, but always evoking a sense of peace and contemplation. Our speaker, however, today underscored the inner strength behind the rustic and aesthetic charm of the bamboo by making the audacious claim that it will be the timber of the 21st century. And he has explained to us why. Of course, all the things he said today can be read from his book. And I checked, Conrad, I checked from Barnes & Noble, and at $10 per copy, yours as an ebook is a steal. There he gave us a roadmap on how entrepreneurs can find investing into the bamboo industry quite lucrative, and at the same time do one's share in protecting and preserving the environment, which what bamboo nurseries do. In Rotary, we have the community-based bamboo reforestation and nursery establishment in the Marikina Watershed Bamboo Sanctuary, a community service project under Rotary International's 7th area of focus, which is supporting the environment. This project is spearheaded actually by District 3780 under District Governor Ed Ayento, which our own District 3830 under District Governor Joji Tan is supporting by way of a district-wide grant. The two life-changing presidents who we have today, LCP's Cory Navarro and John Lan Gomez, have prominent roles in the Marikina Watershed Service Project, which is the reason why they are co-hosting this meeting with me today. So why Marikina, or to be precise, the Marikina Watershed in Rodriguez Rizal? Because if you would recall, during the last quarter of 2020, Typhoon Ulysses brought heavy rainfall, causing the river's water level to rise to as high as 22 meters, higher than the 21.5 meter level during Typhoon Ondoy in 2009. And one of the hardest affected areas in the country was the Marikina watershed, where the swollen river brought flash floods to the villages surrounding it, and spilled runoff water to portions of Quezon City, Marikina, San Mateo, and Rodriguez in Rizal. And once again, the usual culprits of climate change and the denudation of the country's watersheds were identified as the main reasons. So citizen groups have called for a long-term program that needs financial, technical, and governmental support specifically to plant bamboo, as many experts believe that bamboo has proven to possess climate change mitigation properties. Apart from that, bamboo has been considered a high-value crop by the Department of Agriculture. So, Mr. Perreras, you're actually preaching to an audience that is already sold to the benefits of the bamboo. Yours is not a hard sell for those among us who have the resources and the wherewithal, like Vice President Tony Lopez here. Maybe you can complement your walled bamboo with bamboo flooring, or Bimbo Mills, who will look for those 1 hectare for the bamboo plantation to venture into the commercial production of this grass species. And your talk to them have persuaded them to invest, although 8 million hectares will be quite a long way to go. We shall be, as VP Tony has said, we will be posting your contact details, and you may expect some calls, if not a spike, in your orders online for your book. So on behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati, our aunts, our District Governor Joji Tan, my co-host clubs today led by LCP's Cory Navarro of RC Makati EDSA, I don't know if she's still with us now, and Jan Lan Gomez of RC Fort Bonifacio Global City, the other Rotarians from the different Rotary clubs in the district, and my classmates from the life-changing presidents, all the other guests in attendance, please accept, Conrad, our heartfelt gratitude. As a token of appreciation, we will be sending you a copy of 50th Coffee Table book, which contains the achievements of our club for the past 50 years, together with a bottle of Altozano wine for you to enjoy while browsing our book. Aside from the wine and the book, please accept this plaque of appreciation, which has a replica of the steel plate that will be put on the reef bud that shall be planted in the Sea of Narvacan, Ilocos Sur, as part of our Save Our Reefs project. This project, which is a major environmental initiative of the club in line with Rotary's 7th area of focus, aims to revive and regenerate nearshore marine ecosystems. Since you have said, Conrad, that bamboo is buoyant, these reef buds obviously could not be made solely of bamboo. Before I asked all of you guys there to open your camera, is LCP Cory Navarro still with us?
Yes, yes,
okay.
I'm here.
So I'll yield the floor first to LCP Cory for her response.
Okay, my response as to what Chairman Conrad has spoken a while ago, I believe that you really have a good heart. It is your advocacy to promote this bamboo because it's going to really help the environment. And not only we are talking about business, but we are also talking about the legacy that we can brought forward, especially in an organization like Rotary that can really give a very big impact about the bamboo as what we have really contributed on what watershed in Marikina. So our advocacy is aligned with Rotary and yours. So we are really grateful of your heartfelt sincerity in giving all your ideas, your skills to us. You are not a person who is greedy, but you want to share what you have learned, what you have accomplished in life. That is the way a Filipino should be. And as what my classmate Luis mentioned a while ago, so we are so grateful for you having with us here. So I have no more words to say, but thank you very much from the bottom of hearts that you are here sharing the talents, the skills, and everything what you have is really forever grateful. Thank you again.
So now I request everyone to open their camera, VP Tony, for our usual photo op with our speaker before the respective presidents adjourn this meeting.
There, yes. Okay.
First slide.
Aye, look at the camera. Aye.
First slide. Next slide. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Press, can you adjourn the meeting? Can you
Okay.
start with? Can we start with LCP Cory Navarro?
On behalf of Rotary Makati EDSA, I therefore adjourn this meeting.
LCP Jan, you're on mute. Yes, you're on mute.
On behalf of the Rotary Club of Fort Bonifacio Global City, this meeting is adjourned.
My president.
Congratulations again, VP Tony, for a very interesting session. In behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati, I now adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Conrad. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Here, good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Conrad, if I do get a hard